Silence, but the ground still smelled of flame. Every shield lay cracked and buried, every sword had lost its name. I walked among the fallen with smoke upon my heel, trying not to feel the sorrow that the armor could not seal. I thought the war would end in glory, I thought the songs would make it real, but mercy found me weeping where ashes covered the battlefield. Ashes covered the battlefield, grace walked through the smoke, mercy touched the broken ground where every proud heart broke. What we won was stained with sorrow, what we lost could not be healed without the hand of God descending. Where ashes covered the battlefield. I had prayed to stand with courage, I had prayed to hold the line, but I never knew how heavy victory could feel inside. Every banner seemed to tremble, every trumpet sounded still, and my soul bowed low before him on that wounded, burning hill. Not by pride and not by conquest, not by rage the flesh can wield, but by tears poured out before him, the warrior learns to yield. Ashes covered the battlefield, grace walked through the smoke, mercy touched the broken ground where every proud heart broke. What we won was stained with sorrow, what we lost could not be healed without the hand of God descending. Where ashes covered the battlefield, the ashes covered the battlefield. Wash the blood from my memory, lift the weight from my hands, teach my heart to hate the darkness, not the brokenness of man. If the war has left me hollow, if my wounds remain concealed, let your mercy rise like morning, where ashes cover the battlefield. Ashes covered the battlefield, grace walked through the smoke, mercy touched the broken ground where every proud heart broke. What we won was stained with sorrow, what we lost could not be healed without the hand of God descending. Where ashes cover the battlefield, where ashes cover the battlefield. The morning came in silence, but my heart began to kneel, for the Lord was with the wounded. Where ashes cover the Blood rested beside the altar. I came in from the battle with my sword still dark with rain. Every step across the threshold carried weariness and pain. I had fought beneath the banner, I had heard the wounded call, then I stamped at sunrise, and the banner snapped like flame. Every soldier checked his armor, every mouth forgot its name. The valley waited breathless, with the enemy at large. Then the captains bowed in silence and prayed before the charge. I thought command meant never shaking, I thought the strong stood tall and hard. But courage knelt before the battle, when captains prayed before the charge. Captains prayed before the charge. Grace moved through the line, mercy steady trembling hands. Before the swords could shine, what was fear became surrender, what was small became enlarged. God stood near the marching army, when captains prayed before the charge. Some prayed for sons and daughters, some prayed for mercy in the fight. Some prayed not to lose their souls inside the violence of the night. I had thought the war was simple, thought the righteous only marched, till I heard the leaders whisper with broken faithful hearts. Not by shouting, not by boasting, not by glory men discharged, but by knees bent low to heaven, the army faced the charge. Captains prayed before the charge. Grace moved through the line, mercy steady trembling hands. Before the swords could shine, what was fear became surrender, what was small became enlarged. God stood near the marching army, when captains prayed before the charge. Lead us not into our hatred, guard us from the pride of war. Make our strength the servant's weapon, make our mercy stronger, Lord. If the field demands our courage, if the gates ahead are barred, let our first cry rise to heaven, as captains pray before the charge. Captains pray before the charge. Grace moved through the line, mercy steady trembling hands. Before the swords could shine, what was fear became surrender, what was small became enlarged. God stood near the marching army, when captains prayed before the charge. Pray before the charge. The horses stamped at sunrise, but fear had lost its guard. For the Lord had heard the army, when captains prayed before the charge. Thunder twilight, rolling low beneath the hill. Every heart inside the army felt the coming battle still. The ravens left the cedars, the rivers hushed their roar, and the earth itself seemed trembling as drums shook the valley floor. I thought the sound would steal my courage, I thought my soul mercy held the weary hearts that fear had nearly drowned. What had come to break our spirit made our prayers rise even more. God was near the shaking soldiers when drums shook the valley floor. The drums began at twilight, but my fear did not rule anymore, for the Lord became my courage when drums shook the valley floor. Visor hid my trembling, but it could not hide the flame. Every breath inside the iron was a prayer without a name. I had seen the field before me, I had heard the wounded cry, and beneath the weight of armor there was fire in my eyes. I thought the helmet made me fearless, I thought the steel could hide my soul, but mercy saw the war within me and kept my breaking heart whole. Eyes burned behind the helmet, faith fought beneath the steel, grace held the hidden places that no soldier could reveal. When the fear became a furnace, when the night refused to yield, God was watching through my sorrow. Eyes burned behind the helmet. Every scar beneath the metal had a story I denied. Every order I had followed left a question deep inside. I was more than just a weapon, more than fury, blood, and dust. I was still a child of mercy, learning how to trust, not by rage and not by hardness, not by wounds I never feel, but by truth that burns through darkness. The Lord made courage real. Eyes burned behind the helmet, faith fought beneath the steel, grace held the hidden places that no soldier could reveal. When the fear became a furnace, when the night refused to yield, God was watching through my sorrow. Eyes burned behind the helmet. Look beneath my armor, look beyond my name. See the boy inside the warrior, still afraid of flame. If my silence feels like iron, if my tears remain concealed, let your mercy meet the fire where eyes burn behind the helmet. Eyes burn behind the helmet, faith fought beneath the steel, grace held the hidden places that no soldier could reveal. When the fear became a furnace, when the night refused to yield, God was watching through my sorrow. Eyes burned behind the helmet. The visor hid my trembling, but heaven saw the field, and the Lord remained beside me. where eyes burn behind the helmet. Thick with whispers, and the tents were dressed in fear. Every shadow held a warning, every footstep felt too near. We could hear the enemy sleeping, past the ridge and past the lamp. Then the heavens broke in judgment. Fire fell on the enemy camp. I thought the war belonged to numbers. I thought the strong would take the realm. Then God arose in holy thunder, and fire fell on the enemy camp. Fire fell on the enemy camp. Mercy guarded all the weak. Grace became a burning answer when the powerless could not speak. What had plotted in the darkness lost its banner, lost its stamp. God defended his beloved. Fire fell on the enemy camp. Fire fell on the enemy camp. I had feared the swords against us, feared the plans we could not see, feared the night would turn against us before dawn could set us free. But the Lord who watches armies never sleeps and never fades. He can turn the schemes of darkness into ashes by his flame. Not by cruelty, not by hatred, not by vengeance in our hands, but by justice from the heavens. The proud could not withstand. Fire fell on the enemy camp. Mercy guarded all the weak. Grace became a burning answer when the powerless could not speak. What had plotted in the darkness lost its banner, lost its stamp. God defended his beloved. Fire fell on the enemy camp. Burn the lies that rise against me. Burn the traps I cannot know. Break the weapons formed in secret. Let your holy justice glow. If the night surrounds my people, if the threat begins to stand, I will trust the God who answers. Fire falls on the enemy camp. Fire fell on the enemy camp. Mercy guarded all trap, for the Lord had gone before us. And fire fell on the enemy camp. It bled across the valley, red as wounds upon the plain. Every soldier saw tomorrow through the color of his pain. No one spoke of fear too loudly, no one named the coming Christ, but we all could feel the silence. The graves waited under red skies. I thought a warrior should be steady. I thought a brave man never cries. Then mercy heard my hidden trembling, where graves waited under red skies. Graves waited under red skies. Grace stood near the line. Mercy walked among the living before the battle took its time. When the dust became a warning, when my courage wore disguise, God was close to every heartbeat. Graves waited under red skies. Waited under red skies. I remembered home at evening. I remembered voices warm. I remembered prayers from childhood before I learned the shape of war. Every sword beside the campfire looked too heavy in my eyes, and my soul asked God for mercy, where graves waited under red skies. Not by glory, not by banners, not by songs that men revise, but by truth before the Father, the soldier spirit cries. Graves waited under red skies. Grace stood near the line. Mercy walked among the living before the battle took its time. When the dust became a warning, when my courage wore disguise, God was close to every heartbeat. Graves waited under red skies. Waited under red skies. Number all my days with wisdom, hold me if I fall. Teach me not to waste my breathing on hatred's empty call. If tomorrow takes the morning, if the field receives our cries, let my soul be found in mercy, where graves wait under red skies. Graves waited under red skies. Grace stood near the line. Mercy walked among the living before the battle took its time. When the dust became a warning, when my courage wore disguise, God was close to every heartbeat. Graves waited under red skies. Graves waited under red skies. The sunset bled across the valley, but hope did not despise the men who prayed in silence, where graves waited under red skies. trembled on the sword. Though my armor stood in place, I could hear the drums approaching. I could feel my blood lose pace. Every man beside me shouted, every banner kissed the storm. But my soul was cold and honest, weak beneath the warrior's form. I thought that fear would chain me, I thought the brave were never torn. Then the Lord drew near my weakness before the battle horn, and trembled on the sword. But grace held tighter still, mercy met the shaking heart and bent it to his will. When the field demanded courage, when my strength could not afford, God stood closer than my terror, hands trembled on the sword. I had trained beneath the sunlight, I had learned to strike and guard, but no lesson taught the spirit how to face a dying yard. I did not want the bloodshed, I did not crave reward, I only prayed for holy courage with trembling hands upon the sword. Not by hunger for the battle, not by pride that men applaud, but by faith inside the shaking, I learned to trust in God. Hands trembled on the sword, but grace held tighter still. Mercy met the shaking heart and bent it to his will. When the field demanded courage, when my strength could not afford, God stood closer than my terror, hands trembled on the sword. Hold my hands when they are shaken, hold my heart when fear is loud. Keep my soul from loving violence, keep my knees beneath your cloud. If I must stand in the valley, if I must face the horde, let my hope be found in heaven. When hands trembled on the sword. Hands trembled on the sword, but grace held tighter still. Mercy met the shaking heart and bent it to his will. His arm did courage when my strength could not afford. God stood closer than my terror. Hands trembled on the My hands trembled on the sword, but I was not ignored. For the Lord had heard the warrior with trembling hands upon the sword. and the gates were locked with pride. Every bar declared its power, every guard stood cold inside. I had pulled until my wrist bled, I had cried beneath the sword. Then the ground began to tremble, and iron broke before the Lord. I thought the prison owned my future, I thought the locks had sealed the door. Then mercy thundered through the darkness, and iron broke before the Lord. Iron broke before the Lord, chains fell to the floor. Grace moved through the prison like a wave upon the shore. What had held the weary captive could not hold them anymore. God stepped into the midnight, iron broke before the Lord. Every soldier heard the shaking, every stone began to groan. Every captive lifted trembling eyes, I knew he was not alone. I had thought my strength was finished, thought my hope could not be restored. But the hand that split the heavens made iron break before the Lord. Not by muscle, not by fury, not by plans that I had stored, but by power from the highest. Freedom answered with a Lord. Iron broke before the Lord, chains fell to the floor. Grace moved through the prison like a wave upon the shore. What had held the weary captive could not hold them anymore. God stepped into the midnight, iron broke before the Lord. Of my fear break, the chains I learned to wear. Let the walls that made me captive know that you are there. If the prison feels eternal, if my soul feels bruised and sore, I will trust the God of freedom. Iron breaks before the Lord. Iron broke before the Lord, chains fell to the floor. Grace moved through the prison like a wave upon the shore. What had held the weary captive could not hold them anymore. God stepped into the midnight, iron broke before the Iron broke before the Lord, chains fell to the floor. Grace moved through the prison like a wave upon the shore. What had held the weary captive could not hold them anymore. God stepped into the midnight, iron broke before the Lord. The chains were thick around us, but they could not rule the floor. For the Lord had spoken freedom, and iron broke before the Lord. marched beneath the sun. Every wall looked tall and silent, every gate looked never won. No blade was raised against them, no ladder touched the street. Only faith kept moving forward, with dust beneath our feet. I thought the silence meant no answer, I thought the march would end in defeat. Then heaven counted every circle where Jericho dust covered our feet. Jericho dust covered our feet, but grace was in the ground. Mercy walked beside us, though the walls made not a sound. What stood proud against the promise could not keep its ancient seed. God was working in the margin, Jericho dust covered our feet. Every day the city watched us, every tower marked the plain. Every soldier felt the waiting, like a weight beneath the chain. I had wanted fire from heaven, wanted thunder in the heat, but obedience was the weapon in the dust beneath our feet. Not by rushing, not by shouting before the final word was complete, but by trusting in His timing, we kept walking through the heat. Jericho dust covered our feet, but grace was in the ground. Mercy walked beside us, though the walls made not a sound. What stood proud against the promise could not keep its ancient seed. God was working in the margin, Jericho dust covered our feet. March again when nothing changes, march again when courage bleeds. Hold the promise through the silence, trust the God who plants the seed. When the trumpet finally rises, when the shouted heaven meets, every wall will fall before Him, where Jericho dust covered our feet. Jericho dust covered our feet, but grace was in the ground. Mercy walked beside us, though the walls made not a sound. What stood proud against the promise could not keep its ancient seed. God was working in the margin, Jericho dust covered our feet. Jericho dust covered our feet, but the promise stood complete. For and victory filled the street. The valley filled with banners, and the kings came dressed in gold. Every throne had sent its thunder, every pride had grown too bold. They trusted in their horses, in their spears and cavalry, but the Lord looked down from heaven, and kings fell in the valley. I thought the crowns would stand forever, I thought their power would rally. Then justice moved across the dust, and kings fell in the valley. Kings fell in the valley, pride bowed to the ground. Grace stood with the humble, The valley filled with banners, but the crowns could not tarry. For the Lord alone stood sovereign, and kings fell in the valley. Across the hillside with their lances aimed like flame. Thunder rolled above their helmets, rain was calling out each name. I could hear the wood start shaking, I could feel the horses form. Then the sky broke loose in fury and lances splintered in the storm. I thought the charge would crush our courage, I thought their wrath would keep us warm. Then mercy moved like lightning and lances splintered in the storm. Lances splintered in the storm. Grace stood through the rain. Mercy broke the sharpened pride that thundered through the plain. What was raised against the faithful lost its terror, lost its form. God defended his beloved. Lances splintered in the storm. Every rider came with fury, every shout was full of war. Every spear was made for breaking what the Lord was guarding for. But the promise stood before us like a fire no flood could swarm. And the weapons formed against us shattered in the holy storm. Not by hatred, not by panic, not by hearts that love the harm, but by shelter from the highest. We were hidden in his arms. Lances splintered in the storm. Grace stood through the rain. Mercy broke the sharpened pride that thundered through the plain. What was raised against the faithful lost its terror, lost its form. God defended his beloved. Lances splintered in the Break the spear of accusation, break the charge of fear and shame. Let the storm become a witness to the power of your name. If the riders come against me, if the sky grows wild and torn, I will trust your hand above me. Lances splinter in the storm. Lances splinter in the storm. Grace stood through the rain. Mercy broke the sharpened pride that thundered through the plain. What was raised against the faithful lost its terror, lost its form. God defended his beloved. Lances splintered in the storm. Lances splintered in the storm. Riders crossed the hillside, but their pride was left forlorn. For the Lord had moved in thunder, and lances splintered in the storm. with smoke. Every shield had felt the hammer, every spear was bent and broke. But a few stood in the thunder, with their backs against the wall. Not because their hearts were empty, but because they heard the call. I thought the brave were born of iron, I thought no trembling could be near. Then faith rose up inside the shaking, and mighty men stood without fear. Mighty men stood without fear. Grace was stronger than the blade. Mercy held the battle line, where the weary almost swayed. When the darkness pressed against them, when the ending felt too near, God was burning in the courage. Mighty men stood without fear. Some had scars beneath their armor, some had grief behind their eyes, some had prayed through sleepless watches, under cold and wounded skies. They were not untouched by sorrow, they were not too proud to kneel. But the Lord had made their spirits stand like fire wrapped in steel. Not by pride and not by numbers, not by songs that men revere, but by trust in God Almighty. The trembling heart stood clear. Mighty men stood without fear. Grace was stronger than the blade. Mercy held the battle line, where the weary almost swayed. When the darkness pressed against them, when the ending felt too near, God was burning in their courage. Mighty men stood without fear. Make me faithful in the pressure, make me steady in the flame. Let my courage not be empty, let it rise beneath your name. If the war surrounds my spirit, if the drums are all I hear, let my knees find holy strength. Mighty men stand without fear. Mighty men stood without fear. Grace was stronger than the blade. Mercy held the battle line, where the weary almost swayed. When the darkness pressed against them, when the ending felt too near, God was burning in their courage. Mighty men stood without fear. The valley burned with arrows, but the Lord was drawing near. And through the smoke of battle, mighty men stood without fear. Mighty men stand, mighty men stop fear. from songs of marching armies, far from glory's bright display. He had crawled beneath the silence with his blood upon the stone, and the stars looked cold above him as he whispered all alone. I thought the field had left him nameless. I thought no mercy could be closer, that heaven bent into the darkness when night hit the wounded soldier. Night hit the wounded soldier. Grace found him in the cold. Mercy wrapped the trembling heart that battle could not hold. What was lost beneath the shadows, what was crushed beneath the boulder, God still saw the bleeding soul when night hit the wounded soldier. He remembered home at sunset. He remembered fields of grain. He remembered mothers praying before he learned the taste of pain. Every breath became a battle, every tear became a shoulder, but the Lord was in the darkness with the wounded soldier. Not by trumpets, not by honor, not by tales the victors told, but by love that seeks the broken. The dying heart was held. Night hit the wounded soldier. Grace found him in the cold. Mercy wrapped the trembling heart that battle could not hold. What was lost beneath the shadows, what was crushed beneath the boulder, God still saw the bleeding soul when night hit the wounded soldier. Find me when the war has passed me. Find me when my strength is gone. Find me when I cannot rise before the coming dawn. If my cries are only whispers, if my hands are growing colder, let your mercy kneel beside me when night hides the wounded soldier. Night hit the wounded soldier. Grace found him in the cold. Mercy wrapped the trembling heart that battle could not hold. What was lost beneath the shadows, what was crushed beneath the boulder, God still saw the bleeding soul when night hit the wounded soldier. When night hit the wounded soldier. When night hit the wounded soldier. But he could not hide him from the Lord, for mercy crossed the battlefield and laid beside his soul. We gather before sunrise, with the fog around our feet. Every man held back his trembling, every mouth forgot to speak. Then the captains raised their voices, and the banners climbed once more, while the valley stood in silence, oaths echoed before the war. I thought the vow was made of thunder, I thought the brave would ask for more, but every promise shook with mercy when oaths echoed before the war. Oaths echoed before the war. Grace stood beside the line. Mercy had the trembling of hearts, still learning to be kind. What we swore beneath the heavens, what we carried through the door. God weighed every word we offered, oaths echoed before the war. Some swore to guard their brothers, some swore to face the flame, some swore to not let hatred turn their souls into the same. I had thought the sword was simple, thought the cause was all I bore, till I felt the weight of heaven when oaths echoed before the war. Not by fury, not by vengeance, not by hunger for reward, but by justice wrapped in mercy we surrendered to the Lord. Oaths echoed before the war. Grace stood beside the line. Mercy heard the trembling of hearts, still learning to be kind. What we swore beneath the heavens, what we carried through the door. God weighed every word we offered, oaths echoed before the war. Keep my vow from turning bitter, keep my courage clean and true. Let my sword not love the darkness, let my heart belong to you. If the battle tests my spirit, if the blood begins to pour, let me remember holy trembling. Oaths echoed before the war. Oaths echoed before the war. Grace stood beside the line. Mercy had the tremblings of hearts, still learning to be kind. What we swore beneath the heavens, what we carried through the door. God weighed every word we offered, oaths echoed before the war. Oaths echoed before the war. Grace stood beside the line. Mercy heard the trembling vows of hearts, still learning to be kind. What we swore beneath the heavens, what we carried through the door. God weighed every word we offered, oaths echoed before the war. We gather before sunrise, and the valley asks for more. But heaven heard our voices, oh, echoed before the war. captive held a number, every sorrow held a name. The guards had locked the evening, and the night began its reign. But a hymn rose through the silence, prisoners sang behind the chains. I thought the dungeon owned the midnight, I thought the locks would still remain. Then grace began to shake the darkness, and prisoners sang behind the chains. Prisoners sang behind the chains, mercy filled the stone. Grace turned every wounded voice into thunder near the throne. What was bound began to tremble, what was lost began to change. God was moving through the midnight, prisoners sang behind the chains. Some had bruises from the battle, some had scars from cruel hands, some had lost their names to kingdoms, some had wept in foreign lands. Still their voices rose like fire, still their faith defied the pain. For the Lord was not imprisoned when prisoners sang behind the chains. Not by freedom seen with our sight, not by open fields of plains, but by worship in the darkness, hope broke through the chains. Prisoners sang behind the chains, mercy filled the stone. Grace turned every wounded voice into thunder near the throne. What was bound began to tremble, what was lost began to change. God was moving through the midnight, prisoners sang behind the chains. Shake the doors of every dungeon, break the bars of every lie. Let the captive hear the promise, let the hopeless lift their eyes. If my hands are bound in sorrow, if my feet are wrapped in pain, teach my soul to sing in darkness, prisoners sing behind the chains. Prisoners sang behind the chains, mercy filled the stone. Grace turned every wounded voice into thunder near the throne. What was bound began to tremble, what was lost began to change. God was moving through the midnight, prisoners sang behind the chains. Prisoners sang behind the chains. The prison walls were breathing, but the fear could not remain. For heaven heard the worship, prisoners sang behind the chains. The city slept in arrogance, with its walls against the sky. Every tower mocked the promise, every gate refused to cry. We had marched through dust and silence, with no sword raised, no blade drawn. Then the breath of faith rose higher, and a ram's horn shattered the dawn. I thought the morning would stay quiet, I thought the stones would still hold on. Then heaven filled the waiting air, and ram's horn shattered the dawn. Ram's horn shattered the dawn, grace thundered through the sound. Mercy shook the ancient walls till pride came crashing down. What had stood against the promise could not stand, could not go on. God released the shout of victory. Ram's horn shattered the dawn. Every step had taught obedience, every silence trained our breath. Every circle around the city was a march through fear and death. I had wanted faster answers, wanted fire before the song, but the Lord had set the moment when the holy sound belonged. Not by iron, not by fury, not by strength our hands put on, but by faith that kept on walking. The walls fell at the door. Ram's horn shattered the dawn, grace thundered through the sound. Mercy shook the ancient walls till pride came crashing down. What had stood against the promise could not stand, could not go on. God released the shout of victory. Ram's horn shattered the dawn. Sound the horn when fear is rising, sound the horn when walls remain. Trust the Lord inside the waiting, trust His timing through the pain. If the fortress stands before me, if the night feels proud and strong, I will lift my faith to heaven. Ram's horn shattered the dawn. Ram's horn shattered the dawn, grace thundered through the sound. Mercy shook the ancient walls till pride came crashing down. What had stood against the promise could not stand, could not go on. God released the shout of victory. Ram's horn shattered the dawn. The city slept in arrogance, but the morning proved it wrong. For the Lord had heard His people, and a ram's horn shattered the dawn. underneath the could not see the sun. I had carried prayers for courage, I had begged to not retreat, but I never knew that winning could still bring me to my knees. Not every crown is light to carry, not every song is clean and free. Sometimes triumph kneels in silence and asks the Lord for mercy. Soldiers wept after victory. Grace stood in the smoke. Mercy held the hardened men when the hidden sorrow broke. What we gained was full of mourning. What we lost still bent the knee. God was near the wounded brave. Soldiers wept after victory. Heal the hands that held the sword. Heal the eyes that saw too much. Teach the heart to breathe again beneath your gentle touch. If the war still walks inside me, if my dreams still cross that sea, let your peace come like morning when soldiers weep after victory. Soldiers wept after victory. Grace stood in the smoke. Mercy held the hardened men when their hidden sorrow broke. What we gained was full of mourning. What we lost still bent the knee. God was near the wounded brave. Soldiers wept after victory. Souls wept after victory. Grace stood in the smoke. Mercy held the hardened men when their hidden sorrow broke. What we gained was full of mourning. What we lost still bent the knee. God was near the wounded brave. Soldiers wept after victory. Soldiers wept after victory. The king sat high in splendor, with their armies at the gate. Every crown was carved with power, every word was dressed as fate. But a sound came through the heavens, not by sword and not by choice, and the halls of pride were shaken, thrones trembled at his voice. I thought the rulers owned the nations, I thought the proud would still rejoice. Then truth rolled out like thunder, and thrones trembled at his voice. Thrones trembled felt its marble growing cold. I had feared the hands of rulers, feared their iron, feared their noise. But the Lord who sees the broken made thrones tremble at his voice. Not by rebellion born of hatred, not by chaos men deploy, but by holiness and judgment he shattered empty joy. Thrones trembled at his voice, crowns bowed before his name. Mercy lifted up the lowly, justice burned through every claim. What was cruel began to crumble, what was proud lost every choice. God alone stood high forever. Thrones trembled at his voice. Speak above the halls of power, speak above the courts of men. Break the throne inside my spirit, if my pride would rise again. Let the humble hear your comfort, let the wicked lose their poise. Let creation bow in wonder, thrones tremble at your voice. Thrones trembled at his voice, crowns bowed before his name. Mercy lifted up the lowly, justice burned through every claim. What was cruel began to crumble, what was proud lost every choice. God alone stood high forever. Thrones trembled at his voice. The king sat high in splendor, but their glory turned to noise. For the Lord had spoken once, and thrones tremble at his voice. And the battlefield was cold. Every shield was cracked with stories, every heart was worn and old. We had marched through dust and danger, we had slept beneath the foam. Then a sound rose past the mountains, WARHORNS called the faithful home. I thought the fighting was forever, I thought no peace would ever come. Then mercy sounded through the valley, WARHORNS called the faithful home. WARHORNS called the faithful home. Grace rang through the air, mercy gathered weary soldiers from the smoke and from despair. What had wandered through the battle, what had bled and stood alone, found the road of holy promise. WARHORNS called the faithful home. Faithful home. Some return with empty scabbards, some return with haunted eyes. Some had lost the songs of mourning underneath the wounded skies. But the Lord had not forgotten every name the war had known, and his kindness crossed the distance when WARHORNS called them home. Not to pride and not to boasting, not to crowns of flesh and stone, striving, call me back from rage and fear. Let the sound of mercy guide me till your peace is drawing near. If the war has made me distant, if my heart feels turned to stone, let your love become the trumpet. Warhorns call the faithful home. Warhorns call the faithful home. Grace rang through the air. Mercy gathered weary soldiers from the smoke and from despair. What had wandered through the battle, what had bled and stood alone, found the road of holy promise. Warhorns call the faithful The road was long behind us, but we were not alone. For the Lord had sent a signal, warhorns called the faithful home.